Developing sports training programs for teens require more profound knowledge, a more involved mindset, and different tools than creating programs for adults. The demand for services that teach children sports skills, particularly people who help develop motor abilities and basic athletic techniques, is increasing steadily within us. Countless performance facilities and fitness centers are running programs for 7 to 16-year-olds, with the most emphasis on speed and agility programs for teens playing baseball, football, soccer, and basketball. Kids' lack of recreational activity and therefore the alarming trend of early specialization in sports are two of the explanations why sports training programs for teens are often beneficial in. However, the standard of the services and therefore the child's interest are in danger if proper guidelines and specific approaches are neglected within the heat of a profitable moment. It's an incontrovertible fact that creating sports training programs for teens requires more profound knowledge, a more involved mindset, and different tools than creating programs for adults. With that in mind, the subsequent 8 concepts should structure the core philosophy of any successful sports educational program for youths. 1. Children aren't small adults. Coaches often aren't educated enough in children's and youth exercise physiology, added to which, the pressure to always win. Too many of them design training programs consistent with the goals and skills of adults. The intensity and duration of the drills, and therefore the drills themselves, often resemble a training session for mature athletes. I sometimes watch 11 of 10 to 12-year-olds conditioning within the field by my house. Once I see the team running sprints within the heat fully gear, running lap after lap, and falling to the bottom, I begin to ponder the target of the drill. My guess is that the goals are metabolic development and, possibly, mental toughness. Yet, due to the young body's inability to reply to the given training modality, it's not clear whether the goal of this training will translate to success on the gridiron. In other words, albeit those young athletes develop physically and mentally through that drill, the shortage of running technique and poor movement skills under fatigue won't likely translate during a positive thanks to the particular playing of the game. An equivalent drill could be excellent for the athletes who are ready to utilize their advanced motor skills and reap the advantages metabolically, but not their younger counterparts. This instance demonstrates just one situation in one sport, but it is often seen in one shape or form throughout youth sports. 2. Athletes first, players second. Coaches are often tempted to show and practice game-specific skills, quite general athletic skills, since game-specific skills are those that eventually determine which team wins and which loses. Limited training time and people's high expectations of success also can cause this exaggerated emphasis on developing sport-specific skills. Development of general athletic skills, like jumping, landing, skipping, lunging, twisting, and hopping lay the inspiration for game-specific skills and is significant to becoming a healthy and successful athlete. Narrowing the variability of movement skills before the athletic foundation has been laid can risk a child's long-term development and suffocate his or her true potential. Injuries, particularly overuse injuries, at an early age are often a symbol of excessive game-specific training at the expense of general fitness and motor skills. Learning the way to incorporate the components of athletic development within the educational program is vital to the creation of a successful, child-oriented sports program. It's good to recollect that athletes practice these skills throughout their careers to enhance their game-specific performance and to stop injuries. 3. An age-sensitive approach. Coordination, balance, speed, flexibility, agility, strength, and endurance are all important components of human movement and sports performance. The various stages of a child's growth and development determine which motor skills should be emphasized in training programs. For instance, speed and agility progress optimally during the skill-hungry years of 8 to 12, whereas strength and endurance become important in subsequent years. A 10-year-old boy is at his peak period to reinforce acceleration speed and alter direction through games like tag or short shuttle runs. Drills that incorporate multi-directional hops on one leg are well absorbed by children age 8 to 12. During puberty, on the opposite hand, a number of the fine motor skills regress because the body adapts to large changes in muscle mass. Exercises like lunging or single-leg squat variations altogether planes combine the objectives of strength, flexibility, and coordination, and help the body maintain and enhance athleticism even during the clumsier periods of physical maturation. The developmental stages before and through puberty should specialize in children's strengths, not weaknesses. Later, during the high school years, it'll be time for kids to refine their athletic skills by incorporating all the areas of movement training into the program. Flexibility becomes far more important, and strength and endurance abilities are better absorbed at this stage than earlier. It is important to acknowledge, also, that every individual features a different developmental pace. The aggressive push to peaking in high school sports, and even earlier, often neglects the physiological needs of probably great athletes. As a matter of fact, many internationally successful athletes found their specific sport in college or maybe later. 4. It must be fun. The importance of fun is usually neglected or misunderstood in youth sports. A persistent viewpoint during this country is that the sole thing that brings results is tough work, even with reference to children and physical activity. Sometimes people's limited understanding is that fun means telling jokes between drills, or that everybody is laughing hysterically all the time. Often people want to separate result-oriented activity from the fun because they can't connect results and fun in their own minds. What's fun, and may it really be a crucial part of performance enhancement? It is striking what proportion better one learns something if one has fun doing it. Emotions are an enormous part of multi-dimensional human systems. Emotions are tightly connected to physical performance and to the response generated by physical activity. Motivation or inspiration enhances learning on a cognitive also as on a physiological level, which is why fun is so important. Fun is often defined as a balanced combination of skill and challenge. A positive, fun experience is often created if the task is challenging enough but rewarding, as well. Sometimes fun is expressed by laughter, but it also can take the shape of a deep feeling of inner satisfaction. How does one know if the program you're running is fun? Are the youngsters returning for more, week after week, and month after month? Fun is basically the sole thing that's getting to keep children returning to practice. Evaluate your program by the number of youngsters who start and finish it. Additionally, see what percentage come, and the way many refer others to future programs. 5. Long-term development, not short-term success. Are you sure that your coaching philosophy will help the athletes in their careers beyond high school and college? Does your training approach as a teacher of a young athlete vary counting on the planned age of peaking? Are your coaching and training methods a crucial part of the progressive development of athletic maturity? And if so, why? Coaches won't always realize that the choices they create in their training programs might be determining when the athletes reach the height of their competitive careers. Youth coaches tend to seem at success early within the athlete's career because of the best measurement of their own efforts. The important challenge, ethically and professionally, is to acknowledge that the coach's actions today can decide the long-term way forward for the athlete and to gauge the training methods consistent with the years following high school and possibly college. A youth coach should choose training methods with a long-term career in mind, which sometimes might mean compromising short-term success. Are you able to do that for the great of the kid, or is it too important to win today at the expense of tomorrow? Obviously, one is often a successful youth athlete and a successful master athlete, the optimal situation. The best dangers to long-term development are premature specialization, high-intensity training, or too many competitions. Lack of foundational athletic skills or training at too high an intensity can stunt the event of a young athlete also. 6. Safety and productivity. A safe atmosphere may be a prerequisite for learning, success, and fun, and indeed, everyone says they create safety a priority in their youth programs. While acknowledging that accidents can happen even when risk management is correctly handled, planning and running well-structured and instructed programs are what secures a program's physical safety. Beyond that, mental and social safety is simply as important to a program's success. Mental safety thrives in an environment where there's freedom within boundaries and discipline through caring. A productive mental atmosphere is made by clear rules and directions, and a led by example attitude. Children got to know and understand the principles and see that instructors take the principles seriously, too. If a teacher tells players to respect their teammates then proceeds to mock a specific player, the concepts of mutual respect and adherence to rules disappear. Quite the other group, children require that their coaches exhibit an excellent deal of character and maturity. The coach is additionally liable for the social safety of the group, and every child needs opportunities to precise him or herself without negative peer pressure. Bullying can't be a part of a successful children's program or team. Little, tough guys on the team can't be allowed to intensify and take hold. The coach has got to make the principles clear and follow them, too. 7. Do what you'll do. How does one teach a replacement skill? Are you ready to demonstrate an exercise or drill with the attitude and technique that you simply demand from your athletes? The rule of thumb with children is, only teach what you'll do and show yourself. You'll explain the hammer in great detail, but the demonstration will decide how the drill is going to be executed. It is a physically demanding task, but coaches should prepare to demonstrate the exercise also as they possibly can. Work on one area of emphasis at a time and provide specific cues like lift knees higher or hold it for the count of 3. Always initiate the corrective feedback with a positive comment and look for strengths within the performance to accelerate the event in those areas. Alex, excellent footwork on the shuffle, show me if you'll keep the toes pointing forward on a subsequent round. The attention span in new learning is brief. In teaching, you'll move past this potential obstacle by giving an equivalent exercise repeatedly while modifying it a touch whenever. For instance, one-leg balance is often practiced as a timed balance test, a passing drill on one leg, and a tag game on one leg. After the essential movement skill is taught, it's time to practice it within the more randomized setting of a game. The game will show you whether the skill was really learned and whether you'll expect it to be transferred to the sport situation. 8. Keep it simple. Rarely does a rehearsal allow enough time to accomplish everything from athletic development to sport-specific skills. If practice takes place 1 to 3 times per week, it's an honest idea to offer simple tasks as homework. The short bursts of independent exercise will accumulate little by little and show results over the future. The homework also teaches accountability and therefore the importance of the daily physical activity. It is an excellent idea to always start training an equivalent way and make a gap and warm-up protocol in order that children can eventually roll in the hay without instruction. A mixture of exercises wiped out a logical order won't only prepare the body for the practice but also turn on the mind in order that it's able to respond and absorb. If you opt to offer homework, leave time at practice to watch the training results, and encourage the foremost active home students. Non-programmed recreational play is the most vital time to develop motor skills and to assist ensure an athletic and healthy future. Youth sports coaches got to accept that playtime with friends could be more beneficial for youngsters than any organized activity offered, including the sports practice that they coach. The culture of free play is vanishing, and youth sports enthusiasts should be within the trenches fighting to preserve it. It's the foremost important of nature's athletic reserves, and therefore the best homework coaches can give. Operational tips for youth sports training programs. Create solid core values for the program. A successful children's program must have a solid foundation of values and guidelines. Everyone affiliated with the program must be ready to communicate its core values and objectives. A group of values or a mission statement is that the foundation on which all the program variables are based. The moral foundation gives validity to the program and can enhance its longevity. Educate parents and therefore the public. Another role of a successful youth program is to teach the people involved. Every youth sports program looks equivalent to the advertisement poster or flyer, but the contents vary dramatically. How can parents make educated decisions for his or her kids if they believe marketing materials? Administrators and coaches got to arrange situations to satisfy the oldsters to share important knowledge which will benefit their children. Demos and workshops for teachers and other coaches also are an efficient way of sharing information. Practical, hands-on situations will make an enduring impression and transfer learning into teaching. Choose great role models as instructors. Why can we think that basically anyone without a record can teach children? Does that reflect how we value the long term of our youngsters or simply our ignorance? Coaching and teaching children may be a much more influential responsibility than instructing adults and will be taken very seriously. Coaching children doesn't require a PhD, but rather a real caring for youngsters and a desire to find out more about coaching, teaching, and instructing youths. Who doesn't remember the grade school education teacher or the coach whose influence still carries over in our lives? Every youth coach may be a model and hopefully is conscious of it. Envision the aim beyond the score. We'd like to acknowledge that we are within the business of improving children's quality of life and creating a lifetime interest in health and fitness. We have got an important role in helping children obtain the physical, mental and social tools and skills which will help them achieve success within the future. Children learn most effectively by doing and moving rather than just sitting and thinking, and therefore the sports field is the classroom where they study life. Emotions like satisfaction and joy, also as disappointment and frustration, are all a part of sports. Youth coaches are within the optimal position to mentor children with their words of encouragement and correction and, even more so, through their example. Every child benefits from physical activity, athletic or not, and our job is to assist them to stick with it over time. For some, it means the Olympics.